Okay, we're going to be in the ring with Hickerson and Spoiler coming up. We'll also be seeing Terrace Bulba today on our championship wrestling. Right now, coming out, the King. Jerry, can we slip you around over here, partner? And before we get...
Side, Lance,
I don't know why they want you over here, but we'll put you over here. Before we get into conversation about the action coming up with you and the Heartthrob Monday night, I'd like to listen to what your opponents, the Freebirds, had to say. Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy. Let's take a listen to this.
You see what the shirt says, man? Just like the mat said, man. Bad street. And you shouldn't have signed for it if you weren't prepared for it. You know, if you didn't think you were bad enough, you should have tried, like Bam Bam said. If you play with fire, you get burnt. And that's where all this started, man. You know, I didn't bring the scissors in the ring, did I? I was not the one that was responsible for putting them there in the first place. So if the match is bad, then whatever happened is just too bad. Ain't that right? Let me call him the third bird.
That's right. You know what, Lawler? You finally bit off more than you can chew. When you're messing with the Freebirds, you're racking with the worst that can possibly be in the ring or any area, and you're in trouble.
And just because he lost his title, man, he's blaming us. Is that ridiculous?
He calls himself a king. Can you believe that? A king coming from Memphis? No, I can't believe it, man. All the kings come from Bad Street, USA, and you know what it's like, Lawler, to go down Bad Street, USA. We took you down it. You couldn't handle it, boy, and you had your Tennessee conspiracy people, you know, whatever what you want to call them, and they got against us. They tried to suspend us. Well, let me tell you something, baby. We're coming back, Lawler, and we're after you this time, so you get yourself ready. King.
Yeah, they are. Glorious group, the Freebirds.
Well, let me say this, Lance. You know, we didn't get the entire story here up to this particular point. As you know, and as most of the fans know, the reason the Freebirds weren't here to wrestle last week is because of what they did to the referee Jerry Calhoun and what they did to the cameraman Ken Parnell.
Right.
Opened both of those guys' heads up with a pair of scissors. They were suspended. And as I stood out here last week and said, you know, I really wished at that time that they weren't. I wanted to settle my differences with them and get even for both of those guys with them in the ring. You can't do that when they're suspended and they're off running around, gallivanting around, doing who knows what, with the exception of what you saw on that film a while ago. It made Michael Hayes still be able to come to the matches where he wasn't able to actually participate. He wasn't able to wrestle, but he showed up all the way up in Selmer, Tennessee with a mask on so they could claim that it wasn't him. Comes in, cost me the Southern Heavyweight title. Well, I had to then go to Eddie Marlin, who went in turn to Jerry Calhoun and to Ken Parnell, and those guys agreed to withdraw their complaint and everything, and they got the suspension lifted. So these guys have been forced to come back to Memphis, and they talk about a Bad Street match. They can talk about they live on Bad Street, been down Bad Street. I can assure Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes that they have never seen or know the meaning of the word bad until they get in the ring this Monday night with Austin Idol and yours truly. Because, brother, we got it all stored up inside. We got a beating in store for those two jerks that they have never had in their entire lives, Lance. I can assure you that.
Well, I know that both of you guys are such that you have been there before when it comes to getting mean, and this won't be the first time you're going to have to get mean.
No, that's why a partner like Austin Idol is great. He knows, I've said this before, between Austin Idol and myself, we invented about 99% of the dirty tricks that you see in professional wrestling. And, brother, we got a biggest trick bag around, and we can reach down into it. And Monday night, that's exactly what we're going to do. You know, he's always worried about his hair. That's how this whole thing came about. Idol sat down with me in the dressing room. He said, I got a big shock in store for those guys. He pulled out that pair of scissors, and I started laughing because I knew what that meant to Michael Hayes. I knew what he would feel like if he was running around with a little bobbed-off hairdo. Well, maybe we didn't get to cut it. But there's another way you can get rid of hair, Lance. You can burn it off. I guarantee you that, brother. You think you look good. You think you're hot stuff. Well, you're going to be hot stuff Monday night when the King and the Idol get through with you.
Okay, Jerry, everybody's going to be looking forward to seeing that one. That's Monday night, the action. The King and the Idol going at it.